Good morning, hello, this is Argyle Breakfast, waking you up as we do every match day Saturday, getting you in the mood for yet another day, hopefully yet another good day of football action out at home park a little later on. We've got the winning feeling back, haven't we? We've got an away win as well. Everything is right with the world, and they've got a chance, Argyle, to make it 3 wins in a row in the league for the first time in 2.5 years. So lots of optimism around, basically, and that is what we're hoping to bring across to you guys as well this morning. Now, the game against Peterborough United is to come a little later on. We'll give you all the details of how to watch that throughout the show this morning. But there is plenty over the next couple of hours to keep you entertained and interested. So, Tegan Finn is one of those that is making his way in the game. We'll be hearing from his journey and how he has made it into the first team. And sticking with the academy theme, we'll have former Argyle goalkeeper and current academy goalkeeping coach Rhys Wilmot in the studio, sharing some of his memories of his time at Argyle. So lots to get through this morning. Plus, of course, we'll have another attempt of our game, Get the Badge In. And little kind of foreshadowing moment here. The person taking on that today is Aaron Cusack, who is with me in the studio as normal. Why the hand in the face?
I remember it now. I've only just got over it, to be fair. I'm looking forward to seeing it because I remember at the time thinking I was quite confident and I got quite a lot wrong. So I was like, okay, fair enough.
Okay, so there you go. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That is to come just before midday. But it's been EFL Youth Development Week this week, Aaron. And that's why we've gone for the academy theme with the show today. You know, Tegan's story, got Rhys Wilmot on. We've got a couple of other guests. Something you know loads about as well, obviously. But it's great to shine a light, isn't it, on it?
It's brilliant, Charlie, and it's important because we don't always see the brilliant work that goes on in the shadows, helping players develop and get to certain levels. And you know, I've been there. I was in the academy for 13 years. It's not a thankless task. That's not the case. But you put in lots and lots of hours, and you dedicate a high proportion of your time to helping players become the best versions they can be. And someone like Rhys Wilmot, who's been here like forever, it's great that we're celebrating his achievements and his contribution, alongside someone like Tegan, who's fresh out of the academy and is just embarking on his professional career now. And
you said fruitless, and I know not quite the right phrase because I got what you meant, but it's the moments when Tegan breaks through that make it fruitful, don't they? That's the moments in which you do the job for. You do the long hours. You're out in the rain at Ivybridge Community College. You're travelling at the crack of dawn to get to Oxford away to play a game. You know, they're the moments you do it for. Rhys has seen that obviously a lot with Mike Cooper and Zach Baker now as well. So that's why you do it, isn't it?
Of course, and you know they're the kind of shining light moments, Charlie. So you want the players to go on and become the best versions that they can be. And someone like Tegan, we love seeing players break through in the first team, of course, rather than them going on elsewhere. But there are thousands of players who have come through the system who have gone on to have good careers, albeit non-league, or at other professional clubs. So, and that, for me, personally, that also brings an element of satisfaction. I personally love seeing local football, players I've worked with when they were 10, 11, 12, now 28, 29, playing good level of non-league, still playing, still loving the game. You know, and I know this is a celebration about the current players within the system, but it's important for us to appreciate the legacy as well of what goes on in the academy.
You say it is just a whole on the academy, the successes. And as you say, it's not necessarily a player that's going to come out and score goals at home park or be player of the year. It could be that they go back into the academy. We've got plenty of former academy players that are now working as a coach or for the Argyle Community Trust. Or, as you say, playing football locally. We've actually got potentially a player from our academy that could be playing against us today, Claudia Lolos.
Yes,
part
there we
of Peterborough's setup.
Of course.
So, you know, Argyle is littered. There's the stories littered with Argyle tales in the Football League and beyond, isn't it?
I agree, and that's the important thing about the academy for me. You are providing an education. Not everyone will get to the first team. You know, it just can't physically happen. But what we have to do is make sure that we create a platform for development and opportunity to allow players to flourish to their level when that opportunity arises. And you know, we love seeing players come through and play in the first team. We want that, but it's, you know, it's testament to all the work that goes on through the personnel that don't always perhaps get seen day in, day out.
Good morning. Hope you're still having a lovely morning so far. This is Argyle Breakfast, and now we've got a very special guest joining us in the studio. Aaron and myself have been joined by Rhys Wilmot, who is the Argyle Academy goalkeeper coach, but I think you've had pretty much every role around the club as well. Player, actual staff member, policeman, not at the club.
No.
But lots of things that have been going on. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. I seem to be in a good place with the academy at the moment, which is a little bit more relaxing and less stressful than first team environment. But I loved it when I was in it, but I'm happy where I am now. Yeah,
well, we've got you in because we are obviously celebrating the academy this week. It's EFL Youth Development Week, and there's been, you know, a lot of things we've been talking about on the show already. Lots of things going on across the week. But from your perspective, now that, you know, as you said, you're now within the academy, how much different is it? But how much, I don't know, how much do you enjoy working with younger players?
Well, I came into the club back in the day. It was 20 years ago now with Gordon Bennett, bless him. They introduced me into the academy to coach goalkeepers, which I gave it a bit of a trial. And within 1 week, it was like, this is me. I've got to do this. I loved it. Within a week, I loved it. And I've been in ever since, like you say, in various different roles. Coaching young goalkeepers, that's my bag. I love the first team, and I think you've got to go in and try that as a goalkeeping coach. It was something I had to do, and I was running alongside like full-time employment. First team part-time, academy part-time. Obviously, I'm now full-time just at the academy, which is lovely. But yeah, it's like I said, the academy is what I want to do. And I remember the knees were giving up a little bit, and Neil Jusenip at the time said to me, he said, "Well, we're going to have to advertise your job, Rhys, in the academy full-time." And I went, "Oh no, it's my job. It goes nowhere. That's me." He said, "Okay, it's yours. You've got the full-time role in the academy." And
okay.
So I opted out of first team. Obviously, I've had my knees sorted out now, so I could go back in if I wanted to. But no, that's not going to happen.
No. Well, it did a couple of years ago. I remember. I think it was a message you sent me, something like, "Well, that's my Christmas ruined."
Yeah.
When it was a couple of years ago. At Cardiff, wasn't it?
It was when Shuey left.
Yes.
And everybody else left with him, I guess. And they invited me in for the Christmas for one. It was for one training day. Then it was, can you do the game on Saturday? And I think it was against Wayne Rooney's Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yes.
Yeah. So, can you do Saturday? Yeah. And then, of course, we had, because it was Christmas, there was games coming thick and fast. And I think we were Southampton away in between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
So I did the Southampton away. I was popping pills because my right knee was hanging off. But yeah, it was good fun. I did it for about 6 weeks. And once again, you know, when you pop in and you know you can pop back out, it was good fun. Yeah. And I was happy to help the club out. Of course, I was.
And obviously, you were working full time during that period with someone that you put so much work into, in Michael Cooper. Yeah. You know, he talks a lot. Every time I'd spoken to him about his journey and what have you, your name comes up in terms of like a huge help. Yeah. And he's your boy, isn't he? Really.
Yeah. And I keep in touch with him. He's having a bit of a tough time at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's all part of his development from my point of view. You know, it was always going to happen. Surprisingly, it's happened at the beginning of this season. But, you know, on the way in, I was thinking about what you might ask me. And obviously, he was going to pop up, definitely. And I go back to that first training session at Plymouth School. You probably were coaching then, Aaron. In the academy, we were on grass at Plymouth, and this lad turned up with Dad. First day of trial, under 9. He was probably 8, but under 9. And I had to stop the session after 5 minutes. "Where's your dad?" Because I knew he'd come from Exeter. And I'm like, "Where's your dad?" And he said, "He's on the bank over there." So I went straight over to Jeffrey, his dad, and said, "We're signing your boy."
Hello, good morning. It is 17 minutes past 11. If you're just joining us, where the heck have you been? But do not worry, because you can get back and watch the rest of the programme as soon as we come off air at midday. Now, today we've been focusing a lot on the academy. It's been EFL Youth Development Week all week across the country. We've been highlighting and celebrating a lot of the good work that we do here at the football club. We had Rhys Wilmot on just a moment ago talking about his role, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that we've got another member of the academy staff with us now, Mackenzie Brown, as head of player care at the academy. Thanks for being with us, fresh from the pitch this morning, watching your lad play football. Appreciate you coming in. Tell us about your job then. Tell us about the role in which you have at the academy, Macca.
Yeah, so the player care role is quite a new role in football, in the football industry. It's a mandatory role now across academies in the UK, which is really important. And essentially, it's a role that is a combination, I suppose, of education and support. And if I was going to kind of wrap it up in a nutshell, I kind of support players before they come into the academy, during their time with us in the academy, and then of course after they leave the academy, which all players do, whether they go onto the first team or whether they leave obviously throughout their journey at some point. So yeah, it's very different depending on the age groups that you're working with. For example, if I was working with some of the boys, like I said there, before they would come into the academy, normally they come in on trial. So we're very transparent and open about what a trial looks like, what the academy setting looks like. We educate them on that. We talk about obviously the outcomes and the success rates, if that's what you want to call it, in terms of getting into professional football. So we're very transparent from an early age about that. And then during their time, the support can look, it can look like anything, to be honest. With under 18s, they're full time. So I spend a lot of time with them day to day, supporting them with their journey, but with some of the younger age groups it can be quite reactionary. Something might pop up and so it could be issues at school, could be anything at home that you're supporting with. And then of course the aftercare, which is really, really important, kind of where when their journey comes to an end at whatever point that is, supporting them with that, trying to help them kind of find what might be next, whether it's grassroots football, whether it's trials at other clubs. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, kind of education and support really across the board.
We've been talking a lot this morning, Aaron, about either pressures or commitment, sacrifices. Use the word. You said you don't like the word sacrifices. That's fine, but we've used it anyway, and I'm mentioning it again now. And it's easy, I suppose, to kind of just forget from the outside looking in that these are children, aren't they? And the stresses and pressures that people will have in day-to-day life as adults is quite strong. But children, they're learning life still, aren't they? And they are in a sort of like high-performing elite environment within their age group. Dealing with school, could be things going on at school, could be things going on at home. They might not be playing in the academy. There's a lot that goes into it, isn't it?
100%. And I think you got to remember as well, most young boys, their dream is to be a pro footballer, and there's this kind of magical feeling around being a pro footballer, and so that puts an element of pressure on them, and they naturally put pressure on themselves. And as you say, every family's different. Like I saw the piece that you did with Joe Hatch earlier in the week. He was travelling down from North Devon 3 times a week, and so that puts pressure and strains on you as a family. Families probably bear the brunt of that. I agree with Aaron. You can shape it as sacrifices that you make, or you can look at it as an investment, and you're invested in yourselves, and you're looking to kind of, if you want to get to where you want to get to. But yeah, it's difficult, and I think what we try and do, we met with the under 16s parents last week, for example, and they've got a really important year coming up because they've got decisions on scholarships, etc. And the message to them as a group of parents was actually the boys are going to be putting pressure on themselves. There's a natural pressure around the football industry for where they want to be. The coaches will put an element of pressure on them to get the best out of them. But as parents, can you potentially just try and alleviate that pressure as much as you can, remind them why they play the game, that enjoyment of it, because that's when you play your best football, of course. So, but yeah, you're dead right. Like pressures at school, GCSEs, SATs for some of the younger ones, travel, and we shouldn't expect these children, as you say, to have the tools in their toolkit to be able to manage that. So that's again an element of the support that we provide in our life skills program, and even our under 18s who aren't a million miles away from a phone call from the gaffer to say we need you on Saturday. Like they need to be in a position where they can handle that, because pressure is a privilege. However, again, you need to have the tools being able to deal with that, otherwise it can go quite wrong. So yeah, that's a big part of the job.
Now, on Argyle Breakfast, we tend to get some pretty remarkable guests on to talk about their stories. And I've got to say, someone who we've got right now probably is up there with one of the most impressive things that I've seen. 3 ultramarathons, back to back, across 3 days, the length of Devon, so 150 kilometres roughly, all to raise money for Project 35. There's not a chance I could do it, but Harrison Abbott is here to talk about how he managed to do it. Thanks for coming in.
No,
Incredible effort, that.
No, thanks for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely unbelievable effort. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of everything, how on earth did you come up with the idea to do that?
Well, initially I wanted to cycle it, which is what most normal people do. I wanted to cycle up and back, stay in Ilfracombe, maybe go to the Wetherspoons while I'm there, and then I thought I might as well make this a bit harder for myself. So yeah, I dreamt up the idea of running it instead, spreading it across 3 days, of course, because running that in one go would be
impossible, basically.
A bit difficult. So yeah, that was kind of the idea from that point.
Okay. So, had you done anything before? You mentioned cycling. So, did you cycle?
I didn't.
Run?
I've done a fair bit of running before.
Yeah.
Nothing as intense as this, but cycling on and off, not as much. But because it's a national cycle route, it makes sense to cycle it. But yeah, I thought I might as well try and run it instead.
And for Project 35,
yeah,
people will know about Project 35. But again, what was your thinking behind choosing them as a charity to do it for?
Sure. I mean, obviously, I have a bit of an association with Argyle, season ticket holder.
Shirt on.
At
the minute.
Of course. So I thought when I learnt about, the charity and the percentage of how many, children are in poverty, kind of stuck with me, and I thought if I'm going to do such a selfish endeavour and do the run, I thought I might as well do it for charity. So yeah, that was the reason why I did it for Project 35.
Yeah, well, incredible. I mean, absolutely amazing work. Let's get into it then.
Sure.
So, 3 ultramarathons back to back. If I run 5k, I'm shattered. So, what was the planning? What was your training? Did you do training beforehand?
I did, yeah. I mean, I'd like to thank my wife actually, because I did 16 weeks of training and have 2 children as well, and that support through that process was crucial.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did like 350 miles of training in that 16-week period, coming up to the run itself, and so that's probably the hardest part.
Right, we've got just over 10 minutes of Argyle Breakfast left. We do have time to squeeze in, get the badge in. Now, you know the rules for sure. You've got a minute to try and guess the badge from the crop that we've put out. It's from the Premier League down to League 2. This time is Aaron Cusac's time.
I'm Aaron Cusack, and this is Get the Badge In.
Right, Aaron, are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
No idea. Bournemouth. West Brom. Cambridge. Sheffield Wednesday. Warsaw. Fleetwood. Norwich. Leicester. No idea. Hull. Argyle. No idea. Blackburn. Coventry. Man United. Wolves. No, it's not Wolves. Chesterfield. Crawley. Mansfield. Preston. Bolton. Fulham. Oxford. No idea. West Ham. Bristol Rovers. Cheltenham. Luton. No idea. Wrexham.
Wow.
19. Do you know what? I'll take that because there's a
19.
few I'm like, no.
Oh, brilliant. 19, which already means that Aaron's not top of the leaderboard.
No, I'm not bottom either. That's the main thing.
No,
but-
which is right. Yeah. We've been joined actually in the studio by Nathan Alban, who is a familiar voice to Argyle TV viewers because commentator for the last couple of seasons for away games, but here in your Peterborough United guys today.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and we were just saying that was a shocking attempt from Aaron because the first badge out.
Straight off the bat,
Yeah.
half the badge was on the screen.
Yeah.
You
It
couldn't even
said
get it.
Borough at the end of
Today's
it.
opponents, Peterborough.
Exactly.
I'm not familiar with their badge, to be honest.
Must do better. They're changing it next season.
Oh, there we
anyway,
are. So, you know, I'll
yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll have to redo it. Anyway, thanks for being with us. It's great to see you. 'Cause
Yes.
it's one of these, weird kind of relationships, I suppose, where me and you talk all the time. Well, we have over the last couple of years been talking all the time, constantly on air. I'm throwing to you, you're throwing back. I think last year at Man City was the first time that we'd seen each other in person. So it's great to have you in.
Yeah, it's nice to be here in the flesh, see you
know.
face to face again, and behind enemy lines this time, which is slightly unusual.
Exactly. And we've got you in to talk about Peterborough. So we've been kind of building up during the breakfast show today by talking about how Argyle and Peterborough are quite similar this season. Really poor starts, losing the first 4 matches. And Argyle maybe have just started their revival a week or two earlier than Posh. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think for Peterborough United, the big swing has been on deadline day with the signings that they managed to bring in. So much more experience, so much more quality, and all of them have gone straight into the starting lineup and have already made such a big difference, as we saw last weekend with Posh getting their first win of the season, their first win since beating Birmingham in the EFL Trophy about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's been some run.
That is some run, isn't it? Tom Cleverley was actually talking when we spoke to him in the build-up. He was saying how he actually thought the game against Wycombe was one of the most impressive wins of any team in the league this season, in terms of like the way in which it was played. Now he may be just hyperbolising to try and put a bit of pressure back on,
so.
but what was it impressive, that win?
They had to grind it out.
Right.
Took a 2-goal lead, but were pegged back to 2-1 just after the interval, and then had to weather quite some spell because confidence has been quite low and the mentality of the team's been quite fragile. So credit to Peterborough for getting through that and managing to see out the win. Wycombe, of course, since then have gone on to change manager. Yeah. May not be the best barometer as to how good Peterborough United are at the moment, given that Wycombe have had hard times themselves and now changing their manager. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how Peterborough and Plymouth Argyle both get on today, both having picked up a bit of form, both having changed to a back three, and things start to be working.